Alright. Barak Yahweh.
Barak Yahweh.
Barak Yahweh Shai.
Barak Yahweh.
Alright, we want to give out honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Alright, we also want to give double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone. And we want to say peace and blessings and salutations to the elect. Alright, and this is GMS Morning. From there, I'm going to let the brother get the flow.
Okay.
Alright, this is basically going to no flesh will be saved. And this is from CNN.com. The title says, Beetles, Butterflies, and Bees, oh my, pollinators face extinction. The study says, nearly 90% of all wild flowering plants depend on animal pollination to some extent. 16.5% of vertebrate pollinators threatened with extinction globally. 75% of the world's food crops depend on pollination by insects and other animals. Bees, birds, butterflies, and beetles are among a growing list of pollinator species in jeopardy of global extinction. A United Nations study warns a trend that could threaten the world's food supply. Beyond the birds and the bees, tens of thousands of species of pollinators that play a significant role in the world's food production and contribute to billions of dollars in food yield are at risk, according to a report released by the United Nations Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services. About 3/4 of the world's food crops depend on pollination by insects and other animals.
Precept. Ecclesiasticus 11:3. The bee is little among such as fly, but her fruit is the chief of sweet things.
Come on, man. So, hey, basically the bees produce the honey, then the bees pollinate the crops, man. If all the bees die, man, we gonna die, man. How the crops gonna get pollinated, man? You know?
Okay. It says about 3/4 of the world's food crops depend on pollination by insects and other animals. The report cites some of these crops include food items found on tables around the globe: apples, chocolate, carrots, and coffee, just to name a few. Pollinators are important contributors to world food production and nutritional security. Their health is directly linked to our own well-being. That includes our financial well-being. An estimated 235 to 577 billion in global crops could be affected annually because the study says nearly 16% of the current global vertebrate pollinators are headed toward extinction.
I appreciate this. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, starting at verse 5. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and an error which proceeded from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place.
Oh, okay. And read that again now.
This Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 5. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceeded from the ruler.
All right, go ahead. You want to expound on that?
Yeah, that error that proceeded from the ruler, man. Basically, all these different things, but because who's the ruler, man? It's the so-called white man, man. So basically, all these different, he not keeping the laws of the Most High, man. For one, the land savage, man. Then he like to spray pesticides on all the crops, man. So that's an error that proceeded from the ruler, man, which basically is causing all these different animals, insects to be extinct, man. Mm-hmm. You know?
Splicing food.
Right, like the brother said, splicing food, man.
That's why you see.
I'm sorry.
Now, listen, that's why you see more cancer rates are getting higher and higher by the year. You know, basically all the pesticides, which are real hazardous to your health. You know,
and that's right, because if you think about it, like food, basically every food has something, a capability that can heal you. But since Esau has distorted all of that, now everything causes cancer. From tomatoes, it's something about tomatoes that can heal you. Pomegranates, cherries, kale, so on and so forth. So by this devil destroying the food, that's another way to take us off the earth quick, man. You know?
And can I say this? That's why Yahweh Shah, he made animals to do what they do. He made them, they all got a job to do something.
Purpose.
They got on purpose, that's right.
Right.
And he's something to fuck everything
That's
up.
a good point, because there's really no need for the pesticides, man. That's why he created the the locusts, man. Locusts eat. All locusts do is eat the crop that's basically not good for you, man. That's basically destroy it already, man. Locusts, he already got different animals set up to come eat the crops that's not good for you, man. Because when Esau basically sprayed his pesticide, it basically caught, like, as far as the bumblebee, man, when he go and pollinate a crop, then the pesticide get in his brain, it cloud his brain up to where he not able to find the beehive, man, which causes him to die off. And then if he do find the beehive, he spread the pesticide to the other bumblebees, which cause their brain to get crowded, then they die out, man. You know? So
the world is in perfect order, you know what I'm saying? But now, since Esau basically done created an artificial world, you know, everything is perverse, and that's the error coming from the ruler.
Yeah, and I'm gonna grab this real quick precept. Sirach 39:21. A man need not to say, what is this? Wherefore is that? For he hath made all things for their uses.
Yeah, and so with the spirit of Yahweh Shem Al-Shai, he's putting that spirit on the prophets to understand about the herbs, you know, to delve into different types of herbs that can heal you, certain foods, so you won't have to go to these pharmaceutical companies, man.
Yeah, the more we realize what Yahweh Shai made, the more you realize how much of a matrix you live in. I mean, once you find out what real food is, you realize that what Esau was feeding you was poison, man. That's how you have a drug addict, a person that binge eats, and a person that's obese. He's basically a drug addict, man. That's right. You know, same thing with you got ACs, man. You know, don't you know you can boost your testosterone just by turning your AC off? All right, you make your nervous. I'm not saying stop using your AC. But you mess up your nervous system when you just rely on this cushioned environment with ACs and heaters, man. Your body has a natural AC and heater called the nervous system, man. When it get cold, you trigger your nervous system. But when Esau gives you this artificial air and heat, what happens is you never stimulate your nervous system, that means you never stimulate any immune system or immune defense against the parasites inside of you, man. All right? So Esau, he's wicked.
Just a little quick back in the article. It says wild pollinators in certain regions, especially bees and butterflies, are being threatened by a variety of factors. Declines in wild pollinators have been noted in northwestern Europe and North America, the study says, as well as in other parts of the world. Their decline is primarily due to changes in land use, not keeping the land savage, intensive agricultural practices and pesticide use, alien invasive species, diseases and pests.
If I can say this, alien, say it again.
Okay, it says their decline is primarily due to changes in land use, intensive agricultural practices and pesticide use, alien invasive species.
Right, the alien invasive species, they actually created their own bumblebee, their own mosquito, man. To kill off the natural mosquito, man, to mate with them, and basically they didn't create their own GMO mosquito and bumblebee. They was talking about doing some kind of tree, you know, a GMO tree. I forget the kind of tree, man. But these alien invasive species they didn't create it, man. They basically kill off the natural bumblebee and the mosquito. Man.
Yeah, because the bees are such a significance. Taking the bee away from the earth is like taking the man away from the woman. The bee fucking impregnates the earth, man.
Hey, man, well, we got one more, man. Hey, let me ask you something before I bring the scripture out, man. Who can make a ball, a sphere, float in the middle of nowhere? And in the middle of that ball is life. It's this whole ecosystem of thousands and thousands and thousands of organisms and microorganisms functioning in tandem to keep the earth functioning, man, to keep you inhaling and exhaling. And within this ball, outside of the ball, is nothing. It's no oxygen, there's none of that, right? Because they got to wear spacesuits, right? But within the ball is oxygen. And you're inhaling and exhaling inside of a fucking ball, man. Mm-hmm. But here's a quick scripture. Sirach 42, and I'm going to start at 23. All things live and remain forever for all uses.
Right, man. So all things, man, live and remain forever for all uses, man. Go ahead.
And they are all obedient. All things are double one against another. That's the food chain too. Because the Most High, you don't have to have pesticides. You don't have to bring in an alien species to keep down the population of certain other species to maintain your crops. because the Most High created predators and prey. So that's two things being double one against each other to create an equilibrium. All right, all things are double one against another, and He have made nothing imperfect. So yeah, Esau goes into the laboratory. You know, he makes all these little genetic species. He's basically insinuating that the way the Most High did it is imperfect.
That's right.
So I'm going to add something to the ecosystem. I'm going to add something to the food. I'm going to genetically spice this tomato. All right. Continuing on, it says, verse 25. One thing established the good of another. So what the bumblebee does to the flower establishes the good for us.
Cool.
All right. It's a chain reaction.
It's like the locusts eating the crop that's not good for you.
Yep.
That's help you, man.
That's establishing the good for us.
Cool.
All right. And who shall be filled with beholding His glory?
And you got like the catfish that keep the clean, you know what I'm saying? Different shrimp. Right, the different sea animals that like the metal said shrimp, man, that keep the sea clean, man.
Yeah. You're not supposed, all because you can visibly touch it and put it in the skillet, that doesn't mean you're supposed to eat it, man. The scripture says all things have their uses. So you have things in the sea that filter the sea. The brothers have an aquarium. Some brothers, they'll get smart and they'll buy certain fish that cleanse the aquarium. What do you call it? Algae eaters or something like that? But they keep the aquarium clean. Well, the Most High's aquarium is the ocean.
Right, but what did Esau do? He done made his own cleaner for the aquarium, you know what I'm saying? Like you were saying.
Yeah.
He basically said, he mimicked the Most High system and set his own system up like he can do it better, man.
Right, you're not supposed to eat the Most High's maintenance workers, man. All right, because you have fish that swim on the top and they defecate. But you have fish that swim on the bottom. They eat the feces of the other fish. Then they eat the carcasses of the fish. So the ocean won't be too polluted with dead carcasses. So the Most High created certain fish that eat those fish to keep the sea clean.
That's right.
People see vultures eat carcasses and they be like, ugh. Those are the Most High's maintenance workers, man.
Right.
I got a quick one. Genesis 2:8. And the Lord Yahweh planted a garden eastward in Eden.
Yup.
And there he put the man whom he had formed.
And that garden is in eastward of Eden is Palestine, so-called Palestine, man. All right.
And what does Eden mean? It comes from the Hebrew Adon, which means the earth, which is paradise.
Yeah, because if you ever watched the documentary Planet Earth, like it's in HD, you will behold the glory of Yahweh outside, man. You actually see the earth as a paradise. But in Babylon, in this matrix, you don't see a paradise because you're surrounded by tall buildings, busy cars, concrete suffocating the earth. And in one of those articles, one of those videos about the endangered bees, one of the reasons why those bees are dying because of the vibration cell phone put out, man. The cell phones put out frequencies that throw the bees off their vibration.
That was said, Wi-Fi, things like that.
Like I say this, like we like the series we had started about the lawless kingdom, man.
Yeah.
And that's what you seeing. That's part of the effect of a lawless kingdom because the diet was in the law, man. You know, we weren't supposed to be eating those things that had the purpose of cleaning the earth, like the swine, the shrimp, and catfish, because those things had a purpose, man. He didn't just make those dietary laws just to make them because that was his favorite food he wanted to eat. He did that because everything had a purpose, man, and we seeing the effects of that lawless society.
Right.
And this is our education.
Right.
What they call it, school of hard knocks.
Right.
We have to get it through we have to learn the hard way. Go ahead.
And what's so crazy though, because he considers like shrimp and certain swine and so on and so forth are delicacies, man. And that goes to show you that this man is perverse, man.
Right.
And you could go on Google. It's just crazy about it. Doesn't debate you. You could go on Google and look up the poison of pork. Yeah, and what it'll do to the human body. You can look it up on Google, man. It's not some scientific debate.
Hey, and just to bag your point, my brother sent a video about 3 years ago, and they was taking this estrogen, wherever you call it, something like alcohol. But the doctor was actually wiping in the guy's pores and opened up his pores, and he was just pulling maggots out. Because basically, you know what I'm saying, the dude died consists of pork, man. I'm talking about long ass fucking maggots, man.
Yeah, long.
They were long as fuck, man.
See, you got a scripture, brother?
I think
We got so I bring out the scripture because we're gonna expound on some things too, man.
That's in Ecclesiastes 10. I'm gonna read verse 5 again. Read 6. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceeded from the ruler.
And it goes into Job 9:24 in case people play stupid. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked.
Yeah, and the arrow goes into those harsh laws. You know, this Esau ruling, man. The saints should wear out, he should wear out the saints of the kingdom.
That's right. That's why they call Esau's laws draconian.
The draconian law.
Everything we basically talking about is error for Esau. He telling you can eat all these unclean animals. You know what I'm saying? The pesticides.
Because you have certain arrows as poisons at the end.
Come.
And poison is dark. And that's poison, man.
The word is actually error.
Error.
Like an error.
E-R-R.
E-R-R-O-R.
Oh, okay, Salah.
We'll read it again. Ecclesiastes 10:5. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an arrow which proceeded from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low places.
So, like the brother was saying, everything Esau has is perverse, but he makes this shit into laws, which, you know, are commandments that we have to follow.
And that goes into Revelation where it says, in her mouth were found great blasphemies, man. Because he makes homosexual rights a legislation. He has to put it on paper. It's okay to be a homosexual, man.
Yeah.
The Most High didn't create those laws because he had, like the brother said, certain preferences.
Right.
He knew what you had to do to maintain the earth, man. Even the other nations, they understand the basics of maintaining the earth.
That's
man.
right. That's right.
You can't maintain a family or a nation with single mothers, man. All that little savage shit, Esau bred that, man. Them cheap keeps and stuff.
That's right.
That you could thank Esau for that. The dude that robbed you at Conoco, man, you could thank Esau for that, because more than likely he was raised by a single mother, man.
Right.
I have seen servants upon horses.
Who's the servants upon horses, man? We are, man. You got
No. Servants.
Oh, man, Salak. It's Esau. It's Esau, man. I was running on other scriptures.
And what's that statue of? The statue had Theodore Roosevelt.
Walked the Gadite.
Yeah. So you had Theodore Roosevelt on the horse. On that nag. Finish it all.
Right, which the horse is going to the power, man. So it's basically seeing servants in the power seat.
Yeah, because it said the elder should serve the younger. So they go, and so there you go, man. Esau's a natural servant. He's supposed to serve us, but not a servant that's in the power seat.
And princes walking as servants upon the earth.
And then that's why you had on one side of the horse you had Judah, which had his gun up. But you had Gad, which had his gun turned upside down, letting you know that he wasn't really down with that war, man. He didn't want to fight. And that's why they stopped having sex to procreate. Because they didn't want to bring their offsprings into this bullshit society, which we call the Matrix.
Yeah, man. Princes sitting in a low place. Now you got Issachar on top of some construction site. You know, he once had even in on this side of the world, he built his own Mayan civilizations and Aztec civilizations. You know, Issachar and Zebulon. Now they over here working some bullshit job for Esau for minimum wage. Judah at Walmart sagging his pants, mopping some vomit up. You know what I mean? Mopping up a dirty spot so you can come in and check out. Those are princes, man.
Right.
You gotta stop looking at yourself like you're an African American and you're a nigga, man. Alright.
I got two quick ones.
Alright.
Psalms 82:5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
That's why I say if there be any profane person, any fornicator or profane person as Esau, man. Why? Because he was made to go against nature, man. His whole lifestyle was to do what he doing, man, was to destroy, man. That's why I say the thief coming, but the kill, steal, and destroy, man.
Hey, Yasha, you gotta admit it, he's playing his role well, man. This motherfucker deserves an Oscar.
He really is the opposition, man.
He can't help himself, man. He was created the way he is, man. You know?
And man, this brother, how about you, how Ratha, man, this brother, they're gonna go into how Esau systematically takes over other lands, man, and filter it through the scriptures, man. Because he basically robbed the whole earth, man. He literally robbed the whole earth, man.
And I say this, they've been doing it since Rome, man.
Yeah.
You know, they've been trying to push their vibration out on the whole planet since the days of Rome, really since Greece.
Greece.
But as I've been watching, been studying a little bit about the Roman history, man. You know, Julius Caesar was a conqueror, man. You know, he was going out conquering other land, and then